My marriage, in inverted commas, with Jimmy Page, we only slept together once. And I can't remember what happened.
The need to be purist or whatever.
Was there a leader among you? Was there first among equals?
Well, Jimmy was in charge with the crafting initially, and with the nous, the understanding, and all that. And Bonzo and I were really just couldn't believe it. He got the extra money for driving the van, and I got some penicillin, and we were feeling pretty good about all that stuff, you know. And going back and telling all those people who kept crossing the road to avoid us that, you know, something was going on. As time went on, we matured a little bit from the middle of England, and we played a different role as things developed.
What makes Jimmy Page and his guitar sound so unique?
What makes Jimmy Page? I've got no idea.
I mean, so many people try to copy him. No one ever gets that feel.
It's a subtle blend, though, my friend. I don't know, it must be the Grecian 2000. I haven't got a clue what it could be. It's, he's just a real unusual man. Well, I mean, here I am bolstering my career and trying to tell young people that it's all right when you're 39. It's not. He's an unusual guy. But he's great, you know, and I mean, maybe it's just the angle that he leans back at. There's something remarkable about what he does. He does charge circumstances with a great deal of electricity, but he plays wonderfully.
The thing, and what I like about Jimmy Page is he's the greatest PR man in the world, because I mean, he didn't talk to anybody for 10 years, and you can see him staggering around and going for the Jack Daniels bottle and all that sort of thing. I know the bottle's empty, and I know he's staggering around and winking at the same time, you know. And you get this kind of, oh, would he make it through the year? And really, he's just playing the game. It's a bit like Keith Richards then, sort of playing it along. Saturday was one of those days where he wasn't playing that game at all. He was very, you know, he was one of the other Jimmy Pages was there. And
Which one was that?
Well, the one who's, are you pleased to see me, or was there a gun in your pocket? It was just, he was glad to see me, you know. And it was very nice and warm, and even Paul smiled.
My marriage, in inverted commas, with Jimmy Page, we only slept together once. And I can't remember what happened. My marriage with him was okay, but it was a little strained along the line. Those were kind of very odd, strange days, the Doors once said. And as I guess I come from that time-ish, I found it a little uncomfortable towards the end working. The partnership changed, and the kind of fluctuations of health and efficiency were not always what I wanted.
Do you ever get to sit down with Jimmy and talk to him and say, you know, Jimmy, maybe if you did this or became more 80s or something, or you not intrude on his...
I don't think that's a fair question, because he's very happy doing what he's doing, and he's very competent, and he plays great guitar, and he does exactly,
he does.
He does exactly what he wants to do, you know.
Yeah.
And as long as we can keep our relationship honest and clean, and we can lean on each other now and again, that's all you can ask for, yeah.
That's true.
Working with Jimmy, there were so many kind of areas of sensitivity and tension anyway, because it was such a remarkable thing that we were involved with. Its effect was remarkable, and that in its turn kind of backfired onto us, the kind of purveyors of this kind of whatever it was. So yeah, it's more difficult. It's a shame really, because it would be so nice if he could, or if in these kind of relationships, if the old partnerships could actually transcend into the new. In other words, could George Harrison and Paul McCartney actually work together on the same project with Jeff Lynne? Now, that's a kind of odd one, really, because they're all doing, well, Paul and George are so far apart. But if you imagine bringing Page into my world, into my musical world, which, for all its hiccups, is a particularly healthy one, you know?
Is it fair to say now, officially, to these people and indeed the nation, that Led Zeppelin will not work together anymore?
No.
They won't. Fair to say. It's not fair. Is it?
No, they won't work together again. It's gone.
Would it be silly or overbearing to say that it was nostalgic in a way, though? Did you feel something?
I don't know. I mean, it ain't time to think about it, really. We just said we'd do it. This is the right reason to do what we did.
Briefly, I'll let you go. Future of Led Zeppelin? I mean, any more shows like this, perhaps?
Get out of here.
Now, come on. Would you ever play again with these guys?
Yes.
Any plans in the future to do that? Tonight, as of now?
I'm in Cleveland tomorrow night. I'd like to see you all there. And on Wednesday night, I shall be in Hartford, Connecticut. Then I'm going to Toronto and blah, blah.
Consider taking a lot of that old material that you obviously like and make another. No chance.
There's no point. This is far too testing and exciting, what I'm doing now. I wouldn't substitute this or threaten it or damage it by doing anything else.
And when you had Jimmy on the pre, he's not doing anything on this album.
No.
On now then he was doing a couple of tracks, he was playing some guitar.
He played solos on Heaven Knows and Talk Cool One, yeah. But the thing is, it was kind of neat to do it, and it was great to play with Jimmy again, and the atmosphere in the studio changed and has never been like it was that day. And I don't think it'll ever be like that again, because his presence and people's anticipation is great. It is the myth. To arrive and to set up and to tune up and to play, and everybody's holding their breath. Well done, Jimmy. You can still do that, you know. Yeah, but I mean, all it did was it gave everybody the talking point of, maybe this is the last meander from Plant before that great wedding, you know, and there's no point in encouraging that as a train of thought for anyone, because this is what it is, this here.
Page said about the DVD, he was being asked about the reunion questions inevitably that pop up every couple of years. I'm not going to go there, but he said, you know, it'll take the three of us to be in a room, all look each other in the eye and feel that vibe. Well, you were all in the same room numerous times at the premieres. No eye contact, or?
I could look deep into his eyes, but I don't know what I was looking at, you know. I was looking at a guy who got something else to do in 10 minutes, I guess. It's a very charming thing to say, and I wholeheartedly agree.
What is stopping Led Zeppelin from jumping on stage?
We don't know how good you are on the drums.
Yeah, that's the reason. You never could find anyone who could take John's place on drums?
This band was performance-based and musician-based, and everything came from in the band. And so if there was somebody else on stage but a member of Led Zeppelin, it wouldn't be Led Zeppelin anymore. It's as simple as that.
But for the true believers, the only event of 2007 that mattered was the reforming of Led Zeppelin for a one-off performance. Bonzo's son Jason Bonham took his place on drums.
We just wanted to play and see what it was like and be good once. Because we've been bad so many times in the interim since John passed away. It was time to be good, and we were.
So why did you not take Led Zeppelin on tour?
What you know about Led Zeppelin is, you're interviewing us now, you interview lots of people, they're interesting shows, but you have to be creative and imaginative and move on. And I think the great essence of Led Zeppelin is the creativity and the imagination that develop with each project. And a project is a project. It's not just going back and visiting the past, it's moving forward. And I think that I don't see us being a stadium actor or whatever it is, going round and round, making everybody feel great, playing the hits or whatever they are. I hear that as part of a big picture of what we were once capable of. That's the reason we came to America. We played new songs and we did what we did, and we took songs that made the audience go, wait a minute, I'm not sure about that. Do I like that? And 3 years later, they'd say, yeah, I like that. And that whole creative thing is really what musicians, for me, live for. I think, you know, these few days have been fantastic because they kind of, in a way, it's obviously pressure again, but it's a different kind of pressure. The last lot of pressure was like playing like that and having the physicality and the mental capacity to be what we were many, many years ago, and actually have conviction and be on it. And people can take it or leave it, but it was great. It was really good. And then you drift off, and then you get surrounded by this stifling industry that says, why don't you, have you thought about what, but when we spend time on our own bit by bit, we become friends again, decent, and we have an exchange, and we go back into character somewhat, and a little guarded or whatever it is. And that's how it is with everybody that hasn't been around together for a while. I mean, I haven't seen Paul McCartney hanging out with Ringo Starr lately, but you know, we've got a lot of history and a lot of kinship and stuff like that, and that's something to behold and be proud of.
But it is said that it was you, that you had developed this other interest and that you did not want to do it.
No, I want to do great creative things, and these guys are my buddies. They're my friends. We're soul partners in a big chunk of our creative lives together. And I think that's a wonderful thing to have experienced. And if that can be the kind of melding of just hanging out together long enough to find out if we all know what key we think in, that's great. I mean, but it's ever onward. And John's busy, Jimmy's busy, we're all busy, and it's not the be-all and end-all of everything. It's just what we love and what we may love in the future.
The two other guys are both Capricorns, and they keep stum. They don't say a word, but they are quite contained in their own worlds, and they just leave it to me to do
To
this.
be the bad guy.
Yeah. No, I'm not the bad guy.
Well, you are for all those Led Zeppelin fans who'd love to say, yes, we're reforming.
Oh, fine, yeah. Well, then you need to speak to the Capricorns. Because I've got nothing to do in 2014, you know.
Oh, so it could be back on again, if I can convince the Capricorns.
If you can find them.
I mean, but I'm sure you've been offered a great deal of money.
Are you still on about it now?
Yeah.
Oh, what a shame he was doing so well.
Yeah.
The look of disgust that spread across their faces. All right, I'll leave you alone on this issue.